That they're changing my voice. This video is about why all attractive females should submit to me despite what social norm fanatics think. Social norm fanatics might say he's an incel, okay? But in life, when it comes to these important issues, only a dumbass who's raised very poorly with very poor genes would oversimplify things. Okay. Now, some people, my brothers, might very well oversimplify. More like my older brother, okay? Now, he actually doesn't have that bad of a genes, but he wasn't raised the same way I was because I'm a different person. So when that nature and nurture came together, how, the mistakes my parents made, whatever mistakes they made, didn't really faze me, but they fazed him. But my parents basically are the best parents in human history, and the best. If I don't, I don't have a wife, right? I'm not going to have any kids. So the evidence at this point shows us that the best parents that anyone could possibly have. All right, point number 1. When the attractive female shuns the righteous man, it costs her everything that matters most. Okay, so we have to see point 2 to understand this, right? Point number 2, I'm the last truly righteous man ever possible. So when the attractive female shuns me, okay, she's done. I'm the only righteous person on this planet, and I'm the last truly righteous person ever possible. Well, my dad is somewhat righteous, my mom a little less righteous, right? Because they produce the fruit of giving birth to me, so they're going to heaven, what have you. And of course, they're too old and they've been sabotaged too long to do anything that would cause them to go to hell. So when we look at this thing again, when the attractive female shuns me, it costs her everything that matters most. She says, well, she still has her fancy purse and her fair weather husband who worships the devil. She still has, her car. She still has her career. This stuff is peanuts. This is nothing. Okay? It costs her a truly worthwhile life. It costs her the entrance into heaven. And she's made it personal with me. Not every attractive female on the planet is going to come across my path. And those who didn't obey God through me are in a world of trouble. More than, everyone else who's not going to go to heaven. Point number 3. Do they have to look like Hellraiser demons or the Penguin for it to be obvious that the attractive female should never date the wicked person? So, should a wicked person have to look like those demons from Hellraiser, pinheads, right? Okay, or the Penguin from the Batman comics from the Batman movie, for it to be obvious that the attractive female should never date the wicked person? So, some people might complain and say, "Well, now you tell me." Well, it's obvious who's wicked. Say you're 30 years old. You're telling me in 30 years on this planet, you didn't start to masterfully understand people and detect who's wicked and who's not. That is very naive. That is reckless, thoughtless, tasteless. That is stupid. That's shallow. That's foolish. And when you're that indifferent, you kind of hurt people by being reckless. And therefore, you deserve to go to hell because you don't care enough. Even in the word care, right? You see the letter C and the second part of the word is R. Did you see who people are? Did you care about people, right? The greatest commandment, love God with all your heart. Did you care about God? Love your neighbor as yourself in terms of masterfully do what is just and fair and right by your neighbor, okay, and by everyone else. The golden rule, right? Do unto others as you would have them do unto you. You got to care to see who they are and see what the situation is first, right? Okay. See what the situations are, if you will. Okay. Point number 4, should the attractive female have to see children, especially the children of color, starving to death all at the same time, for her to see why preferring the rich person and cheating the most righteous person ever is wrong? So in the last 10 years or so, about 30 million children starved to death or died of hunger-related issues. Does the attractive female have to see them all at once and notice they're disproportionately people of color? Okay, see them all at once starved to death at the same time. Okay, for her to appreciate, why preferring the rich person and cheating the most righteous person ever is wrong. Okay, now if the answer is yes, then you've testified that they need to obey God through me immediately because they're far too dumb and no one else is righteous, so they need to obey God through me immediately, right? Now if you think the answer is no, okay, then you've testified that they need to stop thinking that they know best about things and they need to obey God through me. Either way, they have bad judgment. Why don't they know that they shouldn't be on that side of the debate? Why don't they know that they're far better off dying the most painful death, okay, and their whole family being killed than to be complicit with 30 million children being starved to death and dying of hunger-related issues every 10 years, and that's 90 million people altogether, right? With another 60 million adults, and that's just that. There's rapes, there's drugging, there's all sorts of other problems in the world as well. People dying of other things that are preventable deaths as well, and so on and so forth. Not to mention idolatry, which is the major ail on this planet, right? If you live for the wrong thing, if you live in the wrong spirit, if you follow Baal or Zeus or the churches, the mosques, the synagogues, if you don't obey God through me, you're in a spirit of rebellion. And by default, all sex you have is rape. By default, all sex the group you're in is rape by deception, because you're not honoring God. You're not doing what's right. If it's not right, it's wrong. The reason why rape is wrong is because it's wrong. Not because some slut fucking is forced to have sex with some piece of shit, okay? But specifically because it's wrong. If you could remove the element of it being wrong, it wouldn't be wrong. You see what I'm saying? So on the same token, right, it is because some slut is being raped by some piece of shit, but it's because it's wrong. If you could separate the two in reality, if you could fairly do it in a way where it wasn't wrong, which can't be done, then it wouldn't be wrong. So a female can't do the biggest wrong ever, which is cheat me out of my right to lead and shun me for pieces of shit, rape by deception, trash, and then turn around and say, hey, it's wrong. Why are things that are wrong happening to her? Okay? Now, she shouldn't fucking want them to happen. She should resist and all that. But she can't, in good conscience, think that she doesn't deserve far worse than that, because she's doing far worse than that. Do unto others as you would have them do unto you. You're doing me wrong to the best of your ability by cheating me out of my right to lead. And you're going to burn in hell. What is your flesh being raped compared to eternal punishment? And then how can you then turn around and say it's wrong for me to say that you should submit to me, which I'm obviously right about? How can you then turn around and say that? It's wrong for you to cheat me out of my right to lead. And if I was to choose you to be my suitable helper, you with bad judgment, you with no wisdom, foresight, insight, you with no discernment, who are you to say that I'm wrong? The simple answer is no business of yours. It's not your business, even though it's your body. Because your brain doesn't fucking work. Think about it. Think about why I say it that way. Okay. Point number 5. An attractive female is to commit to and fight for what is truly right, for her to appreciate what is right, and for her to become a woman of worth. So until you're a woman, you're a demon that has no business telling me anything. Okay, that's part of why it's extra wrong for the state to try to get me to follow them. That's fucking retarded. Because until you truly come into the divine order and fight for what is right and struggle for it, okay, that you have no worth. You're like they say in the Bible, like the dung on the ground, like Job is saying. Like when they're talking to Job, said, the wicked are like dung on the ground. You're the walking dead. You're in the realm of the dead. You're an airhead. You're a useless whore. You're like an ostrich that leaves her children to get trampled by the wild beasts. You're a foolish, selfish harlot. And you don't appreciate what it means to be a man. You don't appreciate what it means to be a woman. And you don't have worth. Point number 6. You all know that organized rapists are keeping me from making the potent and vital 5 points above to an attractive female, and this is key in rape by deception. When we won't even discuss this as a society. What kind of filth have you married? What kind of trash are you dating? What kind of trash are you producing? You live in a society where the most righteous person ever does not have a public platform because they're too fucking evil to give me one. They suppress my videos and fume and poison me. And they have phallic symbols, right? They're penis symbols, obelisks, okay? They have symbols of sexual control. Even the statue, right, is a play on words for state, right? State of mind, soul, being, and status, statue and status. And it connects to statutory rape, which first and foremost has to do with mental states. Why is it wrong to have sex with someone underage? Because of their mental state. What if you made every female a dumb bitch? It's wrong to have sex with anybody, right? Point number 7. Females should be forced to do what's right, and many jerks would argue that instead they should be forced to service them and their despicable friends. So again, females should be forced to do what's right. And the word do has been used as, who has sex with who's doing who in bed, right? What to do, who they're doing. Females should be forced to do what is right, right? Why? Because it's right. And many jerks, many white supremacists, Jewish, LGBT supremacists would argue that instead they should be forced to service them and their friends, while minorities are being led astray with military-grade psychology and substances and coercion and groupthink and suppressing their leaders and so on and so forth. So they can say, well, they're the ones doing all the raping. And that is some bitch-ass shit. I remember I said it in either Illuminati Part 1 or Illuminati Part 2 back in 2009. I said to the white community, I said, first remove the log from your own eye before you try to remove the twig from the black community's eye. Because gang violence and robbing liquor stores and raping people in the hood is peanuts compared to what the white, Jewish, and LGBT community are doing. Look at the Ukraine. Look at Palestine. Look at Big Pharma. Okay, who are the main drug dealers and drug pushers? White, Jewish, and LGBT people. Who are the main murderers on the planet? What spirit is murdering the most that people are on board with, trying to pretend they're better than the people they oppress? White, Jewish, and LGBT people. The main rapists, the main drug dealers, rape by deception, right? And otherwise, really, these frat guys, these rich, spoiled guys can have any chick they want, damn near, and they're raping chicks in a frat lodge. You're just fucking idiots. So they're raping everyone, they're murdering everyone, they're drugging everyone, so to speak, okay? They're stealing from everyone. It's a system of theft, right? The $2 trillion in tax breaks over 8 years, while there's inflation and there's 700,000 homeless people in the streets. That's mass theft. And it's all these rich people getting that tax break. Did they, come together to secure justice for people? Did they come together in their cultures and spirits to rip everyone off? Okay, they avoid paying taxes, which is stealing from society at large and stealing from the planet. They exploit the planet, avoid paying taxes. That's far worse. You could rob liquor stores every day for the rest of your life and not get as much money as the average rich person gets from tax breaks. Okay, it is outrageous. It is sick. It is sick. It is evil, and their trickle-down evil spirit affects the poor until they do crimes at a lesser rate, and they get blamed and imprisoned at a far greater rate. Very, very sick. End this by saying, obviously all people should be forced to do what is right and not white supremacy bullshit or controlled opposition bullshit. Should people be forced to do the despicable, to follow the white, Jew, and LGBT cultures that have produced Big Pharma, that are the tree that have produced mass murder, World War I, World War II, communism and capitalism as murderous and greedy systems. The tree that produced a planet where 3 million children starve to death every year, 9 million people starve to death every year. All the rapes, all the murders, they're systematic. The reason why these things keep occurring at rates that are nearly identical every year is, it dropped 2%. Yay! It went up 2%. No, right? The rate is nearly the same because it's the expected output of a global white, Jewish, and LGBT system, which is drastically different than the expected output of a Royal African Falcon martial arts system. So whose side should you be on? It is that simple.